I honestly, if I don't remember to do it right after the podcast, I will forget even to reply and just say all the best. Thanks for letting me know. No, that was a different guy altogether. You had just asked the question, and I'm trying to think of what was the situation when
we were looking at our notes, and he has something written on there. Then he goes, I haven't even talked to you about this yet. And it was about an applicant for a position at the office. And I said, oh, was it that angry guy, which we did talk about on the podcast? He had an interview. You said it's not right. He wasn't local. And you were like, we were looking locally. And he was like, how dare you set
Waste my
he
time.
hung up on you.
He hung
then
up on
wrote
me
you
on the
like
call.
anger mail saying like, how dare you waste my time, making me think that I had this job when you hadn't even had a conversation. You literally just rescheduled an initial interview.
And all it was, I rescheduled an interview and I said, hey, I'm looking forward to talking with you because I literally
that's
genuinely
a normal
am looking
thing that
forward
people say.
to talking to everyone. I've already screened the application. I feel like you could be a fit based off of literally black
a piece of
text
paper
on
says.
white letter.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know. But so tell me about this new person.
yeah. So I literally got an email this morning and it really cut me off guard because he was like, hey, I really appreciate the opportunity. I've talked to my wife and we decided that this is probably.
Oh, like you made someone an offer.
No, I didn't even make an offer. That's the weird thing about the whole thing is I'm reading this and I'm going, and I'm looking at the name and I'm going, who is this? Like, who is this?
Did I accidentally make an offer in my sleep?
It took me a second to realize it. And so two things happened. One, 3 weeks has passed.
Since your initial discussion where you did not make him an offer.
Since they came in for an on-site.
Okay, it was an on-site interview.
We went through a in person. We did it on site. Okay. And we did it on site. We walked down to the new building that we're getting because that was the position.
Oh.
Right. And so I'm literally walking through. And so it's like, dude, I wrote you off like 3 weeks ago when I didn't hear from you after like 2 days.
Yeah.
Like you came in for an interview. I came back and said, let me know if you have an interest and we'll take the next steps.
Right.
Like there's more stuff to go through. It wasn't a job offer by any means.
Yeah.
I honestly, if I don't remember to do it right after the podcast, I will forget even to reply and just say all the best. Thanks for letting me know. Like, what do you say? Like, hey, thanks for letting me know. I've been waiting here patiently for you.
We literally already hired someone.
And we've already actually hired for the position.
The position's filled.
And that's the question is, do I reply back in like that manner and be like, hey, thanks, all the best. Like, we actually already hired for it because I hadn't heard from you at all. I didn't even know you were in the running. Or do I just reply back and just be like, hey, yeah, thanks for letting me know. And just leave it at that. Because the one is kind of like...
Part of me is like, I wouldn't reply because it's 3 weeks later. But another part, you don't want someone to be under the impression that something existed that didn't. The door's not open, ever again because you took 3 weeks to get back to me. But anyway, you'll come up with a great response. You can ask AI. Someone literally messaged me yesterday that I used to work with and was like, oh, this person put in their notice. And he was like, and my boss... whatever, they were like writing back or handling the situation, and the boss wrote back and was like, here's what AI said, it sounds more professional and respectful or something like that, like send this instead. And he was like, God, I hate AI. Like you can't even accept someone's
resignation and normally it's like you can't just say I quit. You need to run I quit through an AI engine. And it's like, I respectfully let you know,
cordially inform
you that I no longer wish or desire to work at this company.
It would be funny if someone like wrote an email that was like, in the fucking asshole president is taking this company down, and did it like just like going through this diatribe of like everything they hate about the company, and then it's like, please make this nice, and it's just like, I quit. Right. That's all it says.
I ran my resignation letter through AI and it gave me this.
The only two words that were okay were these.
Yeah, the only two words.
That's funny.
It's interesting. I run a lot of stuff. Almost all my responses now for things I'm running through ChatGPT because here's the thing. And what's so funny is that if I could go look Miss Glancy in the eye today
Who's Miss Glancy?
Miss Glancy is my...
Oh, your teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
She is my, I think, 10th grade...
You just mentioned Miss Glancy like she's been in our
English
life forever.
teacher. Well, first of all, who do you call Miss? Who in your life do you call Miss or Mr. in a casual conversation?
That's why I said teacher.
Boom, teacher. And so...
What up, Miss Glancy?
I was in AP English, which is like advanced placement English at the time.
I was in AP English classes as well. Good for you, honey.
Well, thank you. And so I literally was failing. Like I didn't give a shit about
mine.
English. And Miss Glancy, she called me and she said, "Chris, you're just not really doing well. Like, what do we do?" And I looked at her and I said, "I'm going to be an engineer and have a secretary. I don't know why I need to write this well." And she looked at me and she goes, "I'm transferring you to basic English."
And you're like, okay.
And I said, "All right, is it the same class period?" like I don't know. And she's like, "No," because she's the teacher. She's like, "And I'm the teacher." I'm like, "So I don't get to leave your class. I just go to English." She goes, "Well, I already know you and everything." And she goes, she literally looks at me. She goes, "You're going to do extremely well in this class." And so I actually had like 3 computer science classes in high school my senior year. This was actually senior year because I remember now. And so I had to change out one of my free computer science classes for this. And so I show up and it's like, everyone's like, "Chris, what are you doing here?" It's like half the cheerleading squad, some of the football team, some of the ROT, like pretty much every less intelligent person.
It's not.
No, I'm not even joking. It's like the basic to basic, but they were the best people.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, no one gave a 2 hoots about all this. And so anyways, I think I ended up getting an A. In the class.
We're really reliving your high school experience.
Well, speaking of high school experience, if it wasn't for you, I don't think I'd be reminiscing so deep.
Well, so this weekend, Chris kept Abigail alive.
Yeah, dad of the year. Like,
he is an amazing dad, and he very nicely, along with some help from my family and the best Auntie Lee in the world, he watched Abigail all weekend so I could go home to my hometown
in Michigan
and go to my 20-year high school reunion,
1,000 miles
which we talked
away.
about. But it is so crazy. We're just sitting here like going into this story because when I tell you, you walk into a room, there's like 150 people there. It was actually a really good turnout. Ended up being a great night. But one of the girls said it best. She looked right at me and she was like, one of them said, "I'm going to need therapy after this," because there's like so much old shit like coming up that people have like pushed way down. But there was another girl that was like, "I feel like the neurons in my head are like firing on all cylinders." And she's like, "There's like shit being pulled out of like memory capsules that like you didn't even know was there anymore. You just like look at a face and you're like, oh my God." And the stories were just like rolling. It was unbelievable.
I had someone, not from high school, but from BMI or Army days, and they said this stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, you remember when you did this and you did this?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, it was awesome." And in my back of my mind, I'm going,
"No,
was that me?"
Yeah.
Or,
by the way, a couple people said something, and my exact words were, "Oh, she gone." Like that girl. Like I do recall that she doesn't exist anymore.
You mean Hurricane Becky?
Yeah. It's like, those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't know, Beck's
that was my nickname
was Hurricane.
If I came home a little tipsy, I would typically knock down everything in my path to get to my bedroom.
Yeah.
They called me Hurricane
So she's Hurricane Becky.
My turtle. Oh, that poor turtle. I had a turtle,
Yeah.
and he had like one tiny
I
little...
like turtles.
Yeah, he had one tiny little friggin' stump in the water and like a ramp. And when I came home some nights, I accidentally knocked the light into the water.
And you shocked your turtle to death.
I didn't. I would wake up in the morning. My turtle would have like one little like
flipper.
And
he'd be shaking.
No, he'd be like on the log and like balancing on the glass for like 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I'd get the light out so he could like swim again. His name was Scooter. We did set him free.
To heaven.
No, he's living his best life in Florida.
Oh my God.
He was not a native animal to Florida. So I apologize to the Wildlife Committee.
You know, and I did take an opportunity to bring stuff to the office over the weekend because I was genuinely, I actually thought it's interesting because, we've talked about in business, and you have husband and wife teams, and then you start building a family, and someone decides to stay home or watch that and the benefits, and and then you love work, you're very passionate about work, but now you've got this huge thing that's like, hey, I love you, take care of me.
Yeah.
And so you're torn because
it's
you
really
still want
a
work.
challenging time. Not that I'm going to sit here and make a podcast about motherhood, but it is so difficult to be like, I want to be in two places at once. And here I am with this child who's absolutely amazing, and it's super exciting, but can also be lonely and boring and, and moments.
And I've never had to experience that, because anytime you leave in short stints.
Yeah, you've watched her for like a couple
a full
hours.
Day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've actually done a full day.
You've never. And if there is a day over the weekend, like we're together and
we're together, right? And so it's a tag team event.
Yeah.
And we're hanging out and we have each other's company,
yeah,
etc. But I did get a taste this weekend of what it's like for you, because in my mind, right, I thought, I'm going to get a lot of work done. Like, I literally thought, like, hey, I'm going to have this. And I did have downtime. And then I thought to myself, but you know what? I work early in the morning. And then I also, when she goes to bed, I got hours.
Yeah.
I got hours. I'm going to stay up. I got at least 3-4 hours
Yeah.
of work. And I found myself mentally exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was sleep.
No, I'm literally teaching Abigail rocket science during the day. So like by nighttime, I'm like, whew, that was a lot of singing and dancing.
Right. Because that's what I was doing too. I was singing and dancing. But you get these little stints throughout the day. It's like, oh, you're going down.
And they're unplanned. Like, we don't have a crazy schedule. We're not schedule Nazis. I know, power
but I
to
was
the
able
moms
to get
that
little
are,
things done. And mostly more like house chores and personal, like things around the home. I never had a good enough time. There was one break that I could sit at the computer and actually do some work.
By the way, so I have this honey-do list. We have a shared note in our phones, and that shit is like all checked off after this weekend. You're supposed to, and he restocked the wine nook. Like, obviously I was happy to come home, but I'm like, man, you made this seem way too good. Like, I got to do it again.
Well, here's the thing. I already knew I was going to be dad of the year. Right.
You just wanted to be husband of the year too.
I needed to solidify husband of the year.
No, you were amazing.
And I thought, I literally thought, well, like, what would be something really nice that I could do for you that would be unexpected?
Restock the wine.
And we have not gone to
Did I not
the wine
notice within being in the house for 5 minutes?
It was within 30 minutes because you didn't
That
go
was
upstairs.
when I went upstairs. Yeah, that's when I saw it. Yeah.
I was real. I will be straight up with you. I was hoping for a little bit of a squeal of excitement to hear that, like from downstairs.
Well, okay. Full disclosure, I didn't know if Abigail was sleeping or not.
Yeah,
I was going to get in the shower.
I was looking like,
and then I didn't.
Like just that excitement.
But I didn't know if she was
heart.
down. She was meant to be down. If you don't remember, I put her down, and I was like, I'm going to go up and take a shower. And I didn't know if she was napping or not, which is why I quietly walked down the stairs to see what the situation was before I screamed anything. And you were giving her a bottle because she was so fussy. Oh my God, that was wild too. She like cried all night because I came home. She was like overwhelmed with emotion. But
Exactly.
Either way.
Yeah, she missed you.
But yeah, so we made it through the weekend. My high school
back
reunion.
to the wine nook. We need to talk about my glory moment.
Yeah. Your best husband of the year.
And so, like, I was trying to think of what would be really amazing, and you and I have really budgeted. Like, we're down to budgeting, right? We had to bring in. We have a whole new life in our life, and so we've done that. Whether it's our vacation schedules and everything else, reducing our salaries so that because we're I mean, just our life changed, and so
my reduction was just like.
Yeah,
I just left
certainly
my
not
job
getting a bonus. Like, it's like a reduction. And so our ability to restock where we would do it on a moment's whim.
Well, I was pregnant, so we were like, not necessary. But now it's been like 5 months since Abigail's been born, and I feel like I'm buying a bottle of red almost every time I go to the store.
And if we show someone our home and we're like, hey, here's our empty.
Yeah.
This is like a wine nook, but it's like got nothing in it.
It's literally like RIP to our past life. That's what it was like. It was like, this used to have wine, and now
we had a baby. And we're going to tear it all out and turn it into a little play area.
Oh, God, we do need space for that.
And so we have been putting off restocking for a while.
Yes.
And you've mentioned it once or twice, like, I'm just going to go do it.
And I have not.
And you haven't. And so I thought to myself, I need to get out of the house.
And you took Abigail. I'm very impressed. It was like 45 bottles of wine. Like, that's heavy. That's boxes. That's work.
Yeah,
that's
4
hand
cases.
Work. You know? Yeah.
So I literally went there, got everything picked out. And I asked the guy too. Oh, by the way, there's an Indian owner, and he runs it. He's behind the counter every time we go there.
Yeah.
And I walk in, I go, hey,
He's
do
nice.
you have any
I
discounts?
probably have a $5 coupon in my wallet.
Yeah. Well, I asked for 10% off. I said, hey, look, I'm probably going to drop $500. I
Yeah.
said, can I get 10% off?
Well, more like
he looked
800.
right at me and he goes, I only make 15% on the bottles. I go, and I thought for a second, I go, I'm not going to, he's right. Like he's
Yeah.
only making 15%.
I'm
going to zoom down to 5%.
I've heard that, the like wine stores in general, like owning a wine store or even selling wine, like the markup is terrible. Like you really just can't mark it up.
No,
Like
it's a $10 bottle.
Yeah.
Like I think the wines we bought, that I bought that day, there was a huge sale and Joel got, and that was like the cheapest bottle, like 10.26. And then it went up to about 14. It might've been one or two that was 17, just a couple. And so anyways, like I tried to work a deal. He said no. And I wasn't going to push it. I just said, all right. And I just started like filling the carts up,
Yeah.
bringing abs around. And it was kind of weird because I have this baby,
right. You're like,
and I'm not like buying a bottle. I'm buying like cases
Yeah.
of wine.
and you're like, this, me and my infant
Yeah,
stocking
just,
up our alcohol.
just me and my infant, like driving and drinking.
Dad's on duty.
That's on duty.
That is funny. That's very funny.
But yeah, so we got it in, and then I got everything there, and she was sleeping when I got home, and so I pulled her in, and then threw everything into the
There you
elevator,
go.
and it was done.
Done and dusted.
Done and dusted.
No, I really appreciate it. I should have screamed. I just didn't want to wake the
Yeah.
baby.
Well, now
but
you know.
no, my reunion was great. We ended up. It's so wild. We're back in this like hometown. When I lived there, I wasn't old enough to go to the bars, and like didn't even really know what bars existed. An old Applebee's transitioned to a place called the Grand Tavern, which we all refer to as the Tav. And like that was the spot. And it literally was like Applebee's with a different name stapled on the front. Like nothing changed.
And every Applebee's has like that same format.
Yes.
Like you
And
can't
so-
walk into an old Applebee's
and it's not a
be
cool
like
bar. Like it's just a place. By the way, love the Grand Tavern. I'm not saying anything bad, but it's not like
Old Wood.
it's just not like a place where you're like, hey, have you checked out this new place or whatever?
Right.
So, and I was hoping that they would have planned the reunion like, hey, we're all adults now. We can drive 20 minutes down the road. Most people don't still live in the same town. There was literally a handful, but it's like, why don't you pick downtown Detroit's beautiful and built up and has amazing venues. And like people could have stayed in hotels and been in an amazing city. But no, we all went back to the streets of Farmington. And I was literally
Isn't that
like,
part of it though?
I was
to
like,
go back to where
what
you
is,
grew up.
yes, it was definitely, there was reminiscing.
Nostalgic.
It was nostalgic, but at the same time, I was like, what did we used to do here? Like, seriously, what did we do? And the reality is we all just drove around in our cars, which is like a teenager's house, and listened to music and hung out or whatever. But it was funny because we ended up, all the bars close early. One bar closed at midnight. You transfer to the next bar, closes at 1 a.m. You're like, okay. So we all ended up just like chatting literally on a patio in the street of downtown Farmington. And this cop, there is no one in the streets. No one in the streets.
He didn't get the reunion memo.
No, he didn't get the vibe. He was so like bored and power hungry. When I tell you it was 3 a.m., which I haven't seen in an eternity, but there we all were reminiscing with our stories. And this cop, our Ubers came to pick us up. And this cop had already sped down the street to catch the one car that had driven down it in literally 5 hours. He was like, I'm going to get this guy for speeding. He does a Yui right in front of us and goes like 90 miles an hour. We're like, Farmington cops, there you go. And so anyway, our Ubers come. Out of nowhere, this cop comes back with his freaking loudspeaker, and he was like, this road is not a parking lot. If you don't move, you're going to get a citation. I'm like, there's no one here. It's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Don't you want us to get a safe ride home?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to make these cars pull off. And by the way, if I was that Uber driver, my ass would have moved so quick. I would have been like, sorry, people, this cop's an asshole. Can't pick you up. They stayed there and waited for us to get in the car. I would have been
Good
gone.
for them.
I would have been gone.
No, I fight the system.
Yeah.
Look, there's a difference.
How ridiculous
There's different
is that cop?
levels
They
of fighting
parked
the
there
system.
for literally 2 seconds. That cop
Yeah.
was like just waiting for someone to come out front.
Well, here's the thing. He didn't know that you guys were all, 30 somethings that were getting together to reminisce about
We
high
look,
school.
although we did say it is amazing. It's been 20 years and you're looking around and you're like, wow, everyone looks the same. But you're like, is it social media that you actually have like access to kind of watch people age these days?
I think it has to do with the fact that you're aging at the same rate. And so you see yourself aging. And so your mind makes the association.
For the most
When I
part,
look at my
people
guys-
looked the same.
Yeah. I'm like,
You
oh
know?
my gosh, you guys look the same. You know, but well, actually what was interesting is that you came back and you were like, you go, I'm surprised at I'm reminded of how fit Michigan people are.
Well, I was just surprised because it wasn't like the majority of people were in very good shape. And literally one of my guy friends was like, maybe this is a generation of just like personal
More
hygiene and
healthy.
health.
Yeah,
Like
I wouldn't say
is-
hygiene. I would just say healthy
Yeah.
eating, watching what you're doing.
Right. Because
more
I
education.
look at Michigan and a lot of people don't still live in Michigan, but I look at Michigan in general and I'm like, people are, there's cold winters, you're eating casseroles, you're, whatever.
Yeah, you're bundled
But-
up. Yeah.
But I
indoors.
felt like no one had like a beer belly. No, it felt like people were very physically
didn't go.
active.
Probably would have been big as a dude there.
No, you're fit.
Yeah, I mean,
You've lost
work out.
weight. I work out.
I work out.
Do you?
No, no. I tell you,
I do. I
I
go to
love working
Pilates.
out, but only if I'm told exactly what to do. I take instruction really well. There are
Construction?
instruction.
Instruction.
Like there are a few areas in my life where you can instruct me, and I
Okay.
would smile and be like, "Yes, I will do that for you." And working out is one of them. If I'm going to work out, I need
To be
I need
told.
yeah.
Yeah.
I need to be told.
Personal trainer.
I need a personal trainer.
Well, when we make it big, we'll get you
one
one.
day we'll make it big, and I'll get a personal trainer. I actually did have a trainer for like 8 months, and he was awesome. But he kept trying to get me to lift more weights, and I kept telling him like, "Look, I want endurance. I don't want strength. I don't want to
Be
rip my muscles and
bulky.
get bulk.
Yeah.
I don't want my shirts being tighter than they are. Ooh, guns.
Ooh,
Man, I flexed a little bit. I felt it get tight.
there you go.
I can't be having that.
No,
Can't.
No, it's too much.
Too much.
I know. Well, I can barely break a sweat. I like Pilates because it's just a very relaxed workout. So Paige, the biggest hype right now is Love Island, and
Okay.
so Paige DeSorbo, who everyone knows that I'm obsessed with, she does Pilates as well. And she's
Okay.
like, yeah, a little workout girly. But she went on Love Island to host a challenge. And she like spent time picking out an outfit. Obviously, that's her entire brand. And they called her like the day before she was going to leave and said, do you have anything like lumberjack themed? And she was like, oh my God, I'm literally about to get on the plane. Like, I don't know what to do. And she was so like worked up because they changed the outfit on her. So anyway, she has this dress. It's like this green suede dress. And she wears it. And she was like, I mean, I'm out there in Fiji in like 2,000 degree heat, like speaking of sweating. And because everyone's eating her alive online. And she's like, and I'm practically wearing a full body cowhide. She's like, I'm in this.
Have you seen this episode?
She's like, I'm an animal. No, so I literally started watching Love Island because I was like, well, I got to get to the Paige challenge. And so apparently she got really hot. She thought she was going to pass out and like she can't finish the challenge. And so she ends up feeling better like shortly after. And she was like, okay, like what else do I need to film this week? Like what else do you need me to do? And they were like, oh, we don't need you to do anything. And she was like, oh no. She was like, hold on. The dress I bought for Love Island has not been worn and filmed yet. I'm going to need you to put me in, coach. And they didn't. And she was like, so all these people online are like, where'd she even go? She's so lazy. She couldn't even finish the challenge she flew out there to do. But she passed out and threw up. Like she got heat exhaustion legitimately and like had to stop.
Oh, because of the outfit she was wearing?
Yes.
I mean, what challenge
everyone
would she do?
Everyone ate. She was just like hosting a challenge. Like, hey,
That's
everybody.
just standing there.
So apparently she didn't get to go back and she's like, I'm literally just going to wear all the dresses online, like for a TikTok to show everybody what I had. But it was like a dream come true that just went backwards. And everyone online was like, she already wore this dress. And she was like, what happened to sustainable fashion? Can I wear the same thing twice?
I'll tell you.
That's a lot of stress. Like fashion is her brand. So like if something is your brand
and
like,
you're expecting to
people are
showcase
just watching you, you know?
Well, and what's also crazy is that, I would say that, and a lot of times when you're building your brand or your business like she is, you get to a point, and I can relate to this. So she gets to a point, and then she has to say no to good so she can say yes to great. That's something that I always I always repeat
said
this.
that. Yes.
Say no to good so you can say yes to great. So she's basically said, hey, I'm not coming back to Summer House, right? Which is inevitably good. It's what helped build her brand.
Yeah.
And then she decides, I'm going to keep going. Well, and then all of a sudden you get something that inevitably could be a setback in your career. Like all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm a guest on the show, da, da, da. And then it ends up being this thing that kind of.
Well, except it was like iconic for her. Like, I mean, they say, no, any press is good press, whatever. I mean, truly, like she's got the gigglers
I think
defending
she's
her
got the
to her
gigglers,
court. Yes, she does.
Which is amazing.
Hannah said, the other host was literally like, at what point, did you sit there and say, oh, this is a great story for the gigglers, because you're in these like fucked up moments in life, but they can sit there in those moments and be like, oh, the gigglers are going to love this. And she was like, probably when I was literally puking in the toilet, I knew this was going to be iconic for the pod.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I know.
Yeah,
I did not, however, feel that way when I was in the house this morning trying to kill a wasp because we have an infestation. I didn't sit there and go, this is going to
I'm very curious. Like one wasp is, you had mentioned that it kind of flown in the house.
Okay,
but
no.
Did you have the doors open at some point? Like where did this wasp come in at? I'm so confused.
We have a wasp infestation and it is concerning because we have an infant in the house. But yesterday I opened the door to let Pepper out. Literally 2 seconds. I was standing there with child in hand.
Right.
Opened the door and a wasp like almost as if it was on the top
of the
border
door?
of the door. It like looked like it like almost fell down from like being wherever it was, or was maybe like in the crack when the door opened. And then it was like, it was on the door, but on the inside. So I'm freaking, and I've got the baby, but nowhere to put her down. And so long story short, I threw paper at it. I didn't move. And then when I went to go get the seasoning to throw at it, like a bottle of seasoning that was on your desk, it was gone. And I thought, well, I really hope
it went outside.
It flew outside, but it was like the mother of all wasps, and it had like a long string and then like the stingy bit on the end of it. Then this morning, Chris was like, there's a wasp on the coffee machine.
Correct.
So he killed it.
I went to make you an espresso.
Yes.
And yeah.
And so he killed it.
Yeah.
And that was that. But I was like, I don't think that was the mother of wasps that I saw yesterday. I think that one truly flew out.
I'll check the front door when I get home tonight, but I don't
Well, I
think...
looked up to see if we had mud dubbers. So anyway, then I'm sitting there with Abigail. I look over. There's a wasp on the kitchen counter. And you know what? It was sniffing her formula crumbs.
Oh, that's where it was?
On the counter by her baby Breza. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if it was the same wasp, if it crawled out.
Of the garbage.
Of the garbage.
And it wasn't actually dead.
And it wasn't dead.
I pray that's the case. But so I then...
I mean, what are the chances?
I know. So I then...
Was it limping?
It was it stayed there. It like wasn't zooming around.
Then maybe it somehow crawled out.
So then I whacked the crap out of it with the towel.
Yeah.
And then there I am like a psycho, like trying to move the towel to like not get, see if it was dead or whatever. And nowhere to be found. I have no idea where he is.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No clue.
So you hit it with the towel and it's missing.
Yeah. This is exactly what happened. And so then I had to warn our cleaning lady.
Did you check the floor?
I checked everywhere. But the cleaners had not cleaned the kitchen yet. So she came down and I said, by the way, there's a wasp in here with you. Somewhere. I don't know if I killed it.
That is so bizarre.
And then we've got the baby being watched right now. And I was like, by the way, there's a wasp in here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So letting you know.
I'm feeling it in my ears right now. Like literally.
And so we had a wasp infestation at home. And then there was a snake in the office yesterday.
There was a snake in the office.
That's not cool.
What's crazy about that is that I don't know where that snake got in at. Like, how did it get in? I
don't know.
But there's water up front, and then whenever the water is, the snakes get out. But it was
Freaks me out.
The thing is, there's lizards in here too. I just got to check the toilet seat now. Like, I always get think I'm going to get bit in the ass.
So I studied abroad in the Galapagos Islands, and I shit you not, I did sit on a toilet once, and a frog jumped up on my ass.
And you screamed?
Screamed. screamed.
There was a frog inside of the boat cover when I undid it the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my
So there's
God.
a little Velcro piece, and there's like the little clips in there. So I went real quick to unclip it, and I think he jumped out on my hand and I was like, ah, you know, I didn't scream like a girl scream. It was more like a manly, like, oh, you know, like, you know, I quickly controlled it.
I'm bummed I missed
I can
it.
sense that it was about to be like, ah, you know, and I was like, I turned into like a grumble roar. Like, oh, yeah, I got you, frog. Rah.
I'm so sad I missed that. I wasn't outside for it at all. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, we need to talk about one. We're preparing for the 4th of July. We're super excited. People are coming in a couple of
weeks. We filmed and dusted yesterday
and
for some 4th of July.
here in the office we did, and we finally got a new stove at the lake because our stove literally was like infrared burning, wouldn't turn off.
So
no,
the
we had to
burners
like
were
shut off breakers,
like super heat.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to use this anymore. It's a major fire hazard. So we fixed that, and then. What was I going to say? Oh, your investor board shipping fiasco, which freaks me out because we've already had a situation like this in the last 6 months.
Weird, you know, you get these weird shipping things that happen, and you're like, that's when you question the world.
Where did that package return to?
The house.
What was the shipping out address?
So
was
here's
the
what
return
happened.
address?
We shipped an investor board to someone who we've met at one of our tech events.
The office?
From the office.
What was the return address on it?
It was the dusted address. Actually,
like, how did they get our home address? Are you just realizing this?
I'm just realizing this. Okay,
See,
so we
this
send these things out, and it got sent to. Did it come back? No, it always gets returned back to our house for some reason. That's so bizarre now that you mention it.
You're having an epiphany right now, but I was just telling the team, we got random freaking laptops that showed up at our place, and I made him go dump them in a dumpster way away from our house because I'm like, what in the world was this?
Well, here's the thing, is that the address is the P.O. box at the post office.
Okay.
Is
and
what
they
everything
have
ships off at. No, so I need to look because now I'm very, very confused.
So anyway, this package went out. A board was in it, like an investor board.
Investor board with a video.
That's got like a video pitch and whatever. And it came back. The box is damaged.
It came back one time.
It's been opened.
Then we emptied the box, checked everything out, and then we brought it to the UPS store.
You emptied the box of what?
Originally, we just opened it up to check the insides and make sure everything was there.
So it came back because we had the wrong address.
The first time, no, it was right address, but got returned.
Okay. And it had the board in it.
Had the board in it.
Okay.
Gave it. Then Brandon went and dropped it back off and said, hey, this got returned to us. We want it to get shipped to.
Okay.
We verified the address. It's right. It got shipped, and then it said it was being returned again, but it disappeared. Like it never came back to us.
Okay.
Weeks go by. Then all of a sudden, it shows up
at our home,
at our house, with the return address. I'm gonna have to look at the images now. And we open the box up. The box is mangled and destroyed. The investor board's gone. The video's gone, and inside are these huge accordion filters.
And did you make sure there wasn't like drugs in the filters?
Anytime I touch something like that, I feel like I'm like touching like acid. You know, like I'm be like, ooh, like
something.
Yeah, where I'm like just getting.
Did you throw
drugged.
it away in a dumpster far away?
Well, I mean, we put it out to the trash the other day. Yeah,
that freaks me out.
So bizarre.
Something's up.
So bizarre. But actually, I didn't even think about the fact that I got returned to the house. I'm pretty sure there's a good reason for it, but I need to check. But it's not in our company stuff anywhere.
These are mystery boxes.
It is a mystery box.
Yeah.
Like, how did it get back to there?
I don't know, but it's very strange. Very strange.
Very strange.
Yeah. Now I feel like we've lost him, people, for like the rest of the podcast.
No, seriously. I'm in like such deep thought.
I know you are, but
Change the subject.
We can talk about new home sales. They tanked.
Well, yeah. I mean, new home sales are really, really rough right now overall, which means that it's a buyer's market. And we actually have a software product that I probably have not told you about.
Me?
Yeah. that I
Okay.
pulled the trigger on. You've probably heard me say Renfolio before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we did not have the expertise. We did not have the talent on the team to build something that was built off the blockchain. Just not something that there's not enough work there for us to kind of go after and stuff. And so we had a potential client that came in that wanted to do some blockchain work and this and that. And so I was like digging through my notes and everything. And our app development team, I was like, hey, this is where they want to go. And he's like, yeah, by the way, like
kind of already
our
have
team
this.
has all this experience. And it's one of those things where, and you and I have talked about this, I think in the past at previous workplaces, which is, creating like a talent area inside your HR department where like all these secret talents that people have, and when you're looking for something,
Well, it is
it
amazing.
could be inside
We've
what you already
talked,
have.
yeah. So I originally, when I went to the Quicken Loans ISMS conference, because we were one of their vendors at a previous company, it was amazing. It was like 1,400 people were in the room, and those were all people who had started within the last year. And so anyway, they showed like their internal software that they use, that they built. It was proprietary, but it had everything. It was like you might be an engineer but have the ability to do graphic design. So if like a team existed that was small and didn't have their own designer on site, first you'd go to this internal platform to be like, hey, is there an employee in our 90 family companies that we can leverage for this? And it could be anything. I mean, Megan comes from, the lighting world in New York, theater. And there's like, we used to have a guy that worked sound at his church. And so when we put on like big live events, it was like, hey, Paul, can you help us out?
Right.
I mean, there's little things. People might
have
be
all these
artists.
strengths,
Oh my God, Amanda, who used to work for me, it was like she was on the marketing team. She did a lot of writing for us, but she was an incredible illustrator.
Right.
So we
and
used
she drew
her.
all the propositions.
Yes.
Yeah.
She literally drew them by hand.
We need her to draw our stuff.
I know. She would.
But it's that I forgot where the conversation started. But
you were saying there's little areas of talent. You're standing up Renfolio. We were talking about how the
so
housing
we had
market
this
is
talent
crazy
and everything. And so I was like, you know what? And we talked about what it would cost to build a prototype. And I was like, hey, let's pull the trigger. Like, let's go ahead and do this. The cost was small enough, and I felt good enough that it was on our board last year to build, but we didn't have the talent, and I didn't want to distract the team, so we put it on. I took it off for this year, but then the opportunity presented itself, so I said, you know what, let's go ahead and do it.
on.
It's
Slap
back on,
it
baby.
back on, baby.
We also have some big news in the company. We hit our 10th team member in office here. That brings our total count to 23
That's amazing.
team members.
Well, it's literally been like musical chairs. We've already talked about some of the office stuff mixing, but every time I come in, it's like there's a new cabinet, there's a new fridge, there's new chairs, there's new everything. It's
like Snack Train is getting depleted. We're all like starving here at the end of the month, and it's like,
Well, we should go back to what our
But here's the big
previous
news.
companies. Snack Train is not lunch.
Snack Train is not. And I'm probably the
not
chief
your
culprit
lunch.
of that because I don't eat lunch.
100%.
I'm like, I'll take 10 pretzels
Yeah.
and 2 M&Ms, please. So
No, people literally used to like hide shit in their desk in the beginning of the month, like stockpile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you have to kind of roll it out over the course of the month.
Mm-hmm.
We have officially placed a lease on a new office space in Multan, Pakistan.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so we have 1,200 square feet on the second floor.
See, I learned things during the
And,
podcast. We've got a building in Pakistan.
We have a building in Pakistan. And so the
There you
team,
go.
we actually just, our fourth engineer just started last week in Multan. And I had told the team, I was like, hey, earlier in the year, I said, our goal this year, one of our goals was to open up an office and bring them together, just like we are here in this office.
Right. It is nice.
And because the team is stronger that way.
And they like community.
It's community.
it's-
and so guess what they get? Guess what's in the budget?
What?
A T-boy.
What's a T? A T-boy?
A T-boy.
A physical man?
A physical man that gets them tea.
No.
And I'm not even joking.
What do you mean it's in the What do you mean it's in the budget?
It's in the budget to compensate the T-boy.
So hold on. We have Snack
We don't
Train.
have a T-boy here, but
Who
they have a
made
T-boy.
the budget?
A sim.
So he said,
It was such a small line item, I didn't realize it was a person. Do
You
know
just
what
thought it was the name of the tea brand?
So what's really amazing
it's
about
seriously, they're going to hire a T-boy?
listen to me. Okay, listen here. Okay.
My God.
One of the things.
Does the T-Boy get to come to our internal company
We grow our
conference?
software company. You see a lot of people who have people that are in India and other parts of the world. Now we have great pricing in our software development because we use both U.S. and overseas talent. It's the only way.
Yeah.
Our costs would go up 3 times if we were all U.S. based talent. But our goal was to bring in talent, and we're not paying local wages. We're probably paying 4 times local wages because we want our people very well compensated and make these careers from us. But the standard of living, or I should say the cost of living there is way different than Florida. So we got 1,200 square feet on the second floor. We have the entire second floor of this little building. What do you think we pay for rent? We actually did a contest yesterday in one of our meetings.
How many square feet? While you were
1,200.
talking, I was literally sitting here in my mind thinking, what if the wasp flew up into the baby Brezza?
I thought the same thing. I'm going to check it when I get home.
I'm freaked out right now.
It's not in there. Come on. Back to reality. Back to reality.
Oh my God. These
Office
are like
lease.
the crazy mother thoughts where you're like driving down the road and you're like, what if that semi truck goes through the red light and hits? People used to say that all the time.
Lease.
I know.
Payment.
Oh my God.
Pakistan. Multan.
No, Amber literally used to be like, what if the baby fell off the boat at the same time another boat was zooming by? Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
There's a wasp in her bottle maker right now. Okay.
There's not.
I'm freaking out, man.
There's not a problem.
So, I'm going to have to call Leanne to check. Yeah. It's
Okay.
definitely got to happen. So, how many square feet?
1,200.
1,200 square feet in a city, second floor, with a T-Boy included, or?
No T-Boy. Not in the price.
Okay, monthly?
Monthly. Just give me a monthly price.
Oh my gosh. $50.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
I mean, be realistic. $50?
300.
Okay, you're a little bit closer. $232. Is that right? 232.
That's insane.
Yeah. So like for us, and actually it's not the monthly carry that's hard. It's the outfitting of the office.
How much is the T-Boy?
The T-Boy's like $60 a month.
I mean, that's as expensive as snacks.
I know.
They want a T-Boy.
And they want a T-Boy. They get a T-Boy.
Is he there all day? Just waiting for someone to say they want tea?
I think so.
No.
Like I almost want to make a trip. But you see, when I was in India, and,
We gotta learn the T-Boy's name. We can't just call him T-Boy.
well, he's going on the website right next to Go-To Guy,
Who's go-to guy?
Jerry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, go-to guy.
yeah.
My dad's gonna be next to T-Boy?
Well, it depends on the spelling of his name.
Okay.
Because it's all alphabetical.
Well,
So we did a team page and we put everyone on there. This is kind of funny. So I put everyone alphabetical because I just believe, it's alphabetical. Like that, there's no favoritism. There's no positions. It's just, this is alphabetical. Well, my name starts with a C.
and
so
my name starts with a B.
and you're a B, and that didn't bother me. But we have a bunch of
Well,
people.
hold on. I'm not in front of you.
Okay, listen to me. So the
It
first
was
person,
alphabetical aside from you.
No, but we have a lot of A's on the list. So a sim was first. And so what
Oh,
happens
yeah. That's what I said. So the featured image came through and it was a sim.
when you shared the
Yes.
link,
Yes.
the featured image came through and it was a sim. And it was kind of like, it's not that it was him, it's just that it was any team member that wouldn't be me, the founder. And you're the one that made the comment.
I
And
did.
You said
I said,
you
how
need
do
to
I get my face as the featured image?
Right. And
Yeah.
and so I asked the team, I said, hey, can we change this? Like, let's just change this out. I want to have a different image
I
to
want to
share.
be first.
Well,
I said I actually am the one
You're
who
the one that said
you
I
better
should be
make it
first.
you. You know why? Because those are the things you don't think about if someone leaves a company. Like, this is your company, you'll always be here.
Yes.
But those are the things you don't think about. Like, we
Right.
used to leave. Stop. You will be. But we used to have like sales and account managers like on the website, and the turnover, it was like every time you're like, oh shoot, you got to go to the website and take the person off the website. You know?
okay, awesome. By the way,
Wow.
no, we talked about, remember the idea that I came up with about employee numbers?
Okay. Yeah.
And like, it's really cool to have like, I was employee number 1, employee number 5.
Yes.
And so I got the team's opinion.
Oh, Maria's.
Bleep that out.
Shit. Oh my God.
That'll be funny because it'll be bleeped, and then I'll say bleep that out, and so we'll be good.
Okay. Anyway.
But that's employee number 2. And so, anyways,
You're number one.
I'm number 1, and anyways,
I'm number one.
you are number 1 in my life. But here's the thing: is I talked about how as people leave the company to grow, to do other things, it's not always a negative thing.
Totally
that
agree.
The employee number, your number could change. You might be employee number 10, but now you're number 8, just because of that.
I don't know if people's numbers should change.
Well, it's just if you're at an event, if you're at Party X and there's 50 people there and you're employee number 75, it's like there doesn't look like there's 75 people here.
Yeah.
So you and I talked about changing that number.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Matt came up with a great idea for all of our name badges. He said, what if we add the animal?
Thing. Then you got to like redo.
What if we add the animal to everyone's profile? So someone who came here the year of the goldfish, they're always a goldfish.
Okay.
And if you came here the year of the peacock, you're always a peacock.
Peacock, what up?
You're a peacock.
Yeah, me and Maria are peacocks.
And so a couple of things happen. One is I'm in the process of making. So we have a 24 board, a 23 board. I'm in the process of making the 22 board.
Okay.
It never existed at the time, but
Yeah.
I know what I did and what the plan was. And I'm coming up with an animal for it.
Okay.
And the only one that'll be that will be myself and other magical employee.
Edit.
So, and I don't want to say it out loud because I want it to be a surprise. But
Anyway, well, the employee number thing we still need to figure out.
yeah, the idea is just that it's really cool and it gives you clout.
Like if I was employee number 8 and number 7 left, like I would always want to be employee number 8. I wouldn't
Would you?
Yeah, I would not want to be number 7. I'd be like, don't change my number.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't want my number to change.
Okay, because I thought you kind of liked my idea before, but now you're kind of doing a reversal on me.
I know where it's hard is that
The software would do it.
no, because then you got to change people's badges. People's numbers can't change. I'm back to my original.
Okay,
thought
well that's
process.
where the animal comes into play
Right.
because then you're kind of in this year count or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna cut it and we'll let people know where we got on that because we're already at 46 minutes. Shell's talking about acquiring BP, save the animals. Hope these gas stations don't take over the world.
There's so much happening in the world right now. Autonomous driving coming out. Electric vehicles and robotaxis are about to take over the world. The world's changing.
Well, maybe they can help you with your swamp buggy.
And with that, by the way, I was asked not to move the swamp buggy and the
Who asked you? The
pontoon.
neighbors?
Not to move it for any particular reason, but they're gonna trim the tree this weekend. And so they're like, "Hey, can you move these things?" And I'm like,
No.
You want me to move this 10-ton
Literally no.
thing?
The answer's no. Did
The
you say
answer is,
no?
No, I have to move it because they're gonna be.
How are you going to move it?
I have casters.
Oh my God.
Always prepared.
You're insane.
All right, we'll see you next week. 4th of July.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.